like that guy bar stools. He said football pizza. That's what we got around here. It's kind of mushy. It's made in screens. It's very watery. It's very doughy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Smart Pizza Marketing Podcast. I am here with Jimmy Carvalho of Jimmy's Pizza. We're going to talk pizza, business, how we got into the business. He's doing some cool stuff, so I'm excited to have him on the show. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, man.
Oh, man, it's my honor.
We met at the Pizza Expo, Pizza and Pasta Northeast. You, me, and Scott Wiener kind of hung out in the hallway and talked a little bit, and I'm excited to be on the podcast now with you.
Yeah, it was really cool running into you guys.
Did you go to those a lot?
No, that was my first one. I was kind of like, seeing a lot about it. So I was thinking, I think I should go check this thing out.
Did you like it?
That was amazing. I mean, I was like a little kid in a candy store.
That's awesome, isn't it? It's a lot of stuff going on. So before we get into all that, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, I run a pizza shop for a hobby, which is weird. I get a lot of slack for that, but I actually caught on pretty good.
Whoa. Well, who gives you slack for that?
Customers, they just want the the tunnel vision. You're a pizza shop, you do this way, and that's the only way you do it. And I said, I'm sorry, but I have a day job, I can't do that.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah,
so I'll stop interrupting you now and let you finish up.
Oh no, I don't even know where I was going with that. I mean, it's basically it's a weird story, so I don't really want to chew on it too much, but it's basically I open from 4 to 8 every day. And I own the building, so easy for me to do with me and my son. And we just wanted to make pizza like we got it out in Brooklyn. And we try anyways, nothing like Brooklyn for sure. So, but a lot of the community around us has never had anything where anybody was demanding to only do it that way. And so we instantly were a success, very excited that to say that I feel like a success. Only 4 hours a day, we do pretty good.
Listen, hold on a second. Are you open 4 hours a day every day, or do you only open so many days a week?
I open every day except for Monday.
So you work during the day, a day job, and then you open every night except for Monday from 4 to 8. And you do it because you like to do it and you make money doing it.
Well, we weren't doing it for the money. We were doing it for the craft for sure.
But you're successful enough to be able to pay all the bills and enjoy still doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a success. Like, don't let anybody tell you you're not a success. Like, you are a success. If you get to do what you actually like to do and make money doing it, that's the definition of success to me.
Yeah, I feel like it was a success, yeah.
So what are the customers like? Give us an idea of what kind of pizza you make. What's the philosophy behind what you're doing? So you say you're going to do it like they do it in Brooklyn, and your customer base in the beginning wasn't necessarily familiar with that. What were they used to?
Like that guy bar stools. He said football pizza. That's what we got around here. It's kind of mushy. It's made in screens. It's very watery. It's very doughy, and all the people are used to it around here. And everybody has to do it that way because that's the way it's always been done. And it's really not very good, in my opinion. I like it crispy and thin, made with love, like the Italians do it. They put better ingredients, and so that's what I wanted to focus on. And I started a following on Facebook to kind of tell people about what I'm doing, so I can get my message across. And it was exciting, because people started to take the idea that making better ingredients and talking about your product really, really helps when you're marketing.
For sure.
Like, wow, incredible.
Where did you learn how to make pizza?
Craziest thing was, when I was a kid, there was a pizza place up the street from my house. So I learned how to make it from a nice Italian guy for sure. This was back in the 80s though. And they actually had decent pizza around here. But you know what? A lot of it kind of came back after all the things I've done in my life. It kind of came back to me. But I'll be honest with you, I learned a lot from YouTube. These guys on YouTube, they're like my YouTube stars, all these guys, from the Expo. I actually got to see them in person. I was like, holy mackerel, these guys are good.
Yeah.
And they share the craft and hoping probably somebody will pick it up and bring it back, because I totally believe in it now.
Who are some of those guys? Is it any names that we'd be familiar with?
Oh yeah, Frank Pinello. He was a big inspiration to me. Mark Alcano. You know, his passion. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I hope I'm not butchering it. Mark.
From Lucali, right? From
Yeah,
Lucali's. Yep.
yeah.
Frank from Best Pizza.
Frank Pinello, man, he's a great guy. He's such a good guy to talk to right in person. He's like a real, just a genuine, like good heart. But
I
I,
was actually funny you say that. I was actually in a meeting with him yesterday.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I video you guys are doing something too.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
He's very inspiring too. I mean, he's real talented. He's from the area where my family's from, and you know he's just doing it, and he's expressing his passion to cooking with utilizing family, and I mean, so he's one of the top ones for me. John Arena from Las Vegas, Metro Pizza, Chris Decker, his right hand over there, Tony Gemignani. I mean, there's so many names of people that are just they're doing it right, and I wish that I could do something a percentage as good as them. But when you're doing something 4 hours a day, you got to do it for the craft. So I'm
Right.
definitely focusing on that and not the money. So I believe in what I'm doing right now.
Do you make all the pizza?
Yeah, me and my son do.
What is that like working with your son?
We had some moments, as you can imagine.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to think about.
He doesn't really see the passion like I see it. Because, I mean, like, your customers got to see the passion. And he's young and he just likes making pizza. He doesn't know nothing else. He never made pizza any other way. So he makes it from scratch and he's doing this proofing and, he's making the dough and he doesn't even know how world-class he's making it. He's really doing a good job. And he aren't, and it's
Yeah.
bad.
So when did you open this restaurant?
I opened a year and a half ago, one summer. I think it was not last summer, but the summer before that.
And when you opened, did you know how to make dough and pizza, or did you open and experiment once you opened?
I knew how to do it already because, like, when I was a kid, I worked for a place in not far from my house. He's still in business, big time, perfect pizza, Italian style, made with cornmeal. Real, no screens, no pans, just making it like the old school. I mean, I believe in that. I mean, everybody's got their own thing. I like
Right.
everybody's, but I already know how to make the dough and the sauce.
Okay, so you had an idea.
I recreated my image of a pizza as close to what the Italians were doing in Brooklyn, I would say.
And when you say the customers weren't used to it, so did they come in and they were like, in the beginning, were they turned off or were they turned on immediately because it was different?
Well, as you know, pizza is subjective and people can be very passionate about their best pizza.
True.
This pizza, best pizza. So there was some passion flinging, but it was lucky for me that everybody was doing the same thing in my neighborhood. It was kind of like they're all afraid to do anything else. So when I came out, like they wanted me to cut it into squares. I was like, I ain't cutting it into squares. I'm giving pie slice. Like you're gonna get it like in New York. That's the way you're gonna get it. They're like, what? You can't. You just told me that. I'm like, yeah, 4 hours a day. I don't give a shit. Go down there. There's 17 places to make it just like you want it. So I got kind of with them, but you know what? It caught on because I said, look, you could go and get a pizza just like all them places, but I'm trying to give you a taste of Brooklyn because you can't get to Brooklyn or New Haven. I'm trying to recreate some stuff here as a passion, and we ain't talking about money no more. We're just talking about making pizza, that somebody that I would idolize came in and respect. And so that's what we focus on: quality ingredients, tried true traditions. And I'm probably not even scratching the surface, but we ended up winning best pizza in the entire state in 10 months.
Wow.
And so we're super proud of that because we blew everybody out of town. We got some hate mail. We got all kinds of nasty letters. We got some nasty messages.
For what? Like, what were they sending you nasty messages and emails and mail about?
Well, you can imagine how people get when you win an award and you're only been in business for 10 months and other places been in business for 30 years.
Like you fixed it or something?
Yeah, or they don't get it. They think their place has been in business for 20, 30 years, and that's got to be the best pizza because they've been in business for 20 years. But a lot of places that do that for a long time, they don't care about the passion no more. They don't care about the craft. I feel like sometimes they forget it's just about money for them. Because I, our best place around here is Red Rose in Springfield, and I think they're good. But I think they make so much pizza, they don't pay attention to it as much. Maybe I don't know. I
Like you
just
think the volume that they have to push out in order to do what they've been doing for a while, they just tend to go on that, like Domino's, right? Like Domino's just wants to put out numbers. They don't necessarily care about how as good as they say they care about quality. I don't really think they care about the quality. I think they care about how many pizzas they sell versus how good each pizza is. And that's what you mean by that?
basically, yeah, that's exactly what these places. They got generations of families going to their restaurants forever and voting for them every time. They win every single time, but they never really knew anything else. They just say, well, they got to be the best. They've been in. My mom went there, my dad went there, and they're the best. But for me, I look at it more like, is it the best? Is it the best ingredients, the best makers? Are they using the best sauce? Does it taste good? Does it give me acid?
Right.
Uh, know what I mean? There's a lot of things go into it. They mix it with water, a lot of the tomatoes just to yield more sauce. Um, you know, I'm not gonna knock them, but when it comes down to voting, it's kind of hard to compete with places that have that many people already going to that place.
Right. Especially when you're new.
And then we caught on, like we got the way that the thing worked was we had to get into the top 10 to get judged, and we barely made top 10. But me and like two other places there. So you got the top five, which have been in business for 30 years. So they always make the top five.
Right.
So there's like a couple slots left for a couple of losers like me to come in and maybe the top 10. I mean, that's how the game works around here.
Not loser, outsider. You're an outsider.
Yeah, I came out of nowhere saying I'm not doing this, that, or the other thing. I don't even sell grinders.
Let me ask you a question. So you do this 4 hours a day, it's your part-time gig, you do it as a hobby. What do you think you could do it as a full-time gig if you wanted to?
Oh, absolutely, I could do it, but I love my day job. I can't be doing
Now let me ask you this. If you did do it full-time, would it change? And would you be able to make it be successful if you had to run it as a business?
that. That's a whole other show because we're talking about payroll being $12 an hour now around here.
Yeah.
Kids want $15 and $20 an hour now around here, and most of them don't want to work. They don't want to do pizza. They want to do something else. So we've had a real hard time finding employees. So this concept actually worked better because I'm 4 hours a day than I even imagined.
So you're saying like I can do it myself with my son, push out pizza in 4 hours a day with no real overhead other than the building, and my son has I got to pay my son,
Yeah,
versus having this big huge menu and I have to have 20 employees and delivery drivers and all that stuff and all those extra hours that we're operating.
spot on. It's
And it's true because if you look at New York, right? I was just talking to somebody earlier today. If you look at New York City, and that's kind of where it all starts, right? Like everything kind of starts in New York and expands outward. I think there's different Detroit style and California style, obviously, but for the most part, when it comes to like pizza, people look at New York, and there's a lot of slice shops popping up in New York that just sell slices, right? Like they're not sit down, they're not the restaurants. They just you come in, there's a couple different pizzas you can choose from. You buy a slice, it's $3 or $4 a slice, and you go.
Yeah, and that's something that's sustainable only in certain communities. Some people don't get it. You can't
Right.
put certain communities.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
Is it because you have a smaller community?
I have a small town,
Yeah.
and it would just be there's. We're in a downtown area too. It's very busy down there, but it's not like New York.
Right.
And if
Which
you
is
try
most of the people who listen to the show, they're not in New York communities.
if you try pulling an item that's not sustainable in your business, that item could drain all your profits. It could be the one thing that's hurting you, and so
Hmm.
you have to out your area. Like I could do pizza just like everybody else, but then I'm just like everybody.
And you're doing it because you like to do it. So if you were like, you wouldn't enjoy that.
No, I wouldn't even enjoy that. That would be just for money.
Right. But you don't, that's not your primary goal here.
No, the money comes, I think, when people see your passion for sure. I mean, but you got to give them a great product. You got to talk about it. You got to give them something too. I charge a lot more than most of my shops around here. I came right out of the gate with a more expensive pizza, but I also use the best cheese. I don't have to stress about making the corners, cutting any corners at all. I can use the best stuff every single time. I make dough with olive oil. Most places use a blend. I use real fresh Parmesan Pecorino. I get to use all the good stuff. I don't have to worry about it. So when I slap together a pizza, it's like I can back it up. And some
How
people
many
can't.
how many pizzas do you usually sell on an average night?
After we won that award, the phones rang nonstop. We did
Really?
our best night was 200 pizzas in 4 hours.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it
That's a
was
lot of
nonstop.
pizzas.
We killed the oven like a few times. We had to turn it up to like 750, just as
Just
high as we
opening
could.
the door all the time, you just cooling it off.
And we got the brick kit, so we can make brick oven vibe kind of pizza. We got the bricks on the top, which is a state of the art kind of thing from the
Yeah,
Marsal. I don't know how anybody can use any other oven now. I've used Y600s, I've used Budget 1060s. There's nothing that can touch a Marsal oven.
that's crazy.
No.
So, like, let me ask you this: when you first started, how did you get the word out?
Um,
Now you said you use Facebook a lot.
I did. I did. A couple guys in my area were doing something I thought was pretty smart, and I took it and put it on. But basically, I created a profile for me and a profile for my business so that I could be friends with my customers and be interacting with them that way. But I also had a page for them to like and be a part of that. So it's like a private group and then something else. And that was what my friends were doing. So I just kind of started up talking about the pizzas, showing pictures, and explaining to people because they love to hammer you on social media. So as long as you keep your chin up and you talk to them, yeah, they do. Facebook right now and Twitter and Instagram, it's kind of like if you ain't on that, you better have a really good following already. But that's kind of like mandatory. Like in the old days when you had a business, you had to advertise on TV if you're going
Yeah,
to be big,
or the radio, right?
or mail out those menus. You got to mail out thousands of menus. Now those guys are old school. They won't do the Instagram, the Facebook. For $20, I can shoot my stuff out to 30,000 people. I mean, we just cut our advertising in half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can
And
go
then
and you can choose who you want that message to be seen, and then if it stinks, right? Like say you do a post or you advertise on Facebook and it tanks, you only spend $20, not thousands of dollars.
you learn faster what works, and what works is
Right.
talk about your product and then deliver a good product. Give them some pictures. Be nice. Don't talk about politics. Thank you. That's not. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
use. You're on social media now. You got a product. People are good. I got people coming an hour away to my place because I advertise in their community.
that's crazy. I always say
Yeah.
people like Facebook, Instagram, all that social stuff is going to get people to try you out once, but you got to be good, either give good service or have a really good product to get them to come back.
Oh yeah. And I think that the personal touch works, and they also like what they can't have by doing it 4 hours a day. We had so many people like, I'm never going there between 4 and 8. I'm like, when are you gonna eat? You eat between 4 and 8. Most people, I don't need to do this after 8, and I got stuff to do before 4.
Right.
And it's like they end up coming in like, I came in, and they're like, they'll go on Facebook, yeah, it was good, but those hours suck. And then I still see them come in, like, yeah, I got to get that margarita again.
Nice. That's
You
when you
know,
know you're doing a good job. If someone complains about your hours on social media, but they still come in and buy from you, and you know you're doing something right.
they do, and we interact, and then before you know it, they're our best advertisers. They go around telling everybody they're sharing our picture. I put a picture on last week of a garlic knot pizza. It's just a garlic knot pizza for a customer, but I thought it looked cool. And within 2 hours, I had over 100 likes, and most people are like, "Who cares about that stuff?" But you know what? That's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. Well, did
That's
anybody
kind
order it? Did anybody order it after seeing that photo?
Not because it was Sunday, but if I go into work today, I'm sure I'm going to have a few orders for it. For sure.
Right. Nice.
And that's
Um,
money for me.
it's
That's
about engagement, right? You're doing it right. You're doing it not necessarily for someone to order, which is the ultimate goal because you do want them to do that, but You're doing it for engagement, to get noticed, and to be have people be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I really do.
It's just like your pizza, right? You enjoy doing it, so you're only open from 4 to 8. Same way you do social. You enjoy doing it. You want to get the interaction. You want to get the attention of the people who could possibly come in and visit you between 4 and 8.
I love my day job, and I really enjoy doing that, and it pays a lot more than pizza does. So I just like to just basically, I got sick of it by like 3 o'clock. Like I was just working on some stuff now, and now I'm like, I got to go to work, and I can decompress with just making pizzas.
Right. Are you going to be competing anytime soon in any of these Vegas shows or in Atlantic City?
A lot of people are telling me I should do it, but I don't feel like I'm qualified yet, and I don't feel like I'm good enough yet. But I am going to go to Las Vegas, and I want to see that one because now Jersey got me hooked.
Yeah. You know what? I think you should try, because Tony Gimignani, I've talked to him many times, John Arena, all those guys who you see compete and win now, every single one of them came on this show and said that the first time they competed, they came in almost dead last.
Yeah.
But then they learn the process. They learn how to get better. They practice. And then before you know it, now you see them on at these shows, and they're teaching classes, and they're, number one in their business because they practice, and but you got to go. You're never going to know what the process of competing is like until you actually compete.
Yeah, I definitely want to get out there and do something. And, even if I lost, I win.
Yeah, you're competing. Like, even if you lose, you're still going to get to go to Vegas and try and be surrounded by all those people and learn. And it's a cool atmosphere.
And doing stuff like that, by the way, I just want to add, is really great for your shop. If I did do that and shared it with my friends, like when I went to Jersey and shared that, man, that helped business a lot. People kept coming like, I saw you in Jersey. I saw you with Tony Gimignani.
Yeah.
I saw you with all these other guys here. It's like, who's that guy who's out at Smart Media? That Smart Marketing Pizza there. That's Scott right there, and that's Frank. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe how much you're into it. That's good for business. It was good.
It shows your passion. That's cool, man. So where can people check you out if they're in your area? Where should they go? And then online, where should they go?
Well, it's Casa Pizzeria in Ludlow, Massachusetts. You talking about that on my Facebook page?
Yep. And then where on Facebook or on Instagram should they follow you?
My Instagram account has Jimmy, and then it's Casa Pizzeria or Casa Pizziolo is the name I had to use for that, because I don't really like to mix up my real name with the pizza, because like I said, I got another job and I don't really want to mix the two. It gets very complicated.
Right.
I don't mind. I'm not wanted by FBI or nothing.
I hope not.
Just want to a little bit separate. I mean, I'm going to start telling people about my job, because this place is getting a little too busy for me, and I might just take Tuesdays and Wednesdays off and do it 4 nights a week.
You're the incognito pizza dude.
Yeah, this is a hobby, and I got to keep telling people it's a brand process. But if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm on there. I talk to people. We show pictures on Instagram, Jimmy Casapizziolo.
I'll link all that up in the show notes too. So if you're listening to the show here, or you're watching this on YouTube, check the show notes there. I'll link up all your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, all that good stuff. I know you got to run, Jimmy, so I appreciate you joining me on the show. It's almost 4 o'clock. Got to get in there and make those pizzas, man.
My son's already there opening the doors. We're going to be, we just kind of roll in and we take the calls when we can.
I love it. Beautiful. You have the pizza shop that I think everybody wants to own. Like, roll in when you can. You're only open from 4 to 8. You may close 2 days a week, but you make really good pizza and everybody wants it.
I closed it for a whole month in July just to go to Portugal. I feel like my customers are totally cool with that.
How far away from Boston are you?
I would say at least a round hour, but we're right off the Mass Pike, so it's like 5 minutes from our exit.
I'm going to have to stop in and check you out one of these days. Can I come in before 4, or does it have to be after 4?
No, it can be before. Just call me. In fact,
all
right. Better. I'm busy.
Yeah, I'll have to come in there. We'll shoot some video of your place. Maybe we'll do it in the near future. But Jimmy, I appreciate you coming on and joining me on the podcast, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much for watching the SPM show. For more episodes, make sure that you subscribe, follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, and head over to smartpizzamarketing.com for all of our past podcast episodes and future episodes of the SPM show.